Out on the streets, the catchphrase for this year is no grief for anybody. Now, I don't know where that came from, but one thing is certain. That resilience should be the watchword for everyone. American authorities started the year challenging market infractions within their jurisdiction, and this might just be the end of the road for Tingo Group. And the Nigerian investigators are having a field day with the monetary authorities assuring the public that they are still in charge, while the fiscal authorities are challenging Treasury-funded MDAs to remit 100% their income. The Central Bank of Nigeria has been issuing back-to-back regulations to financial institutions aimed at redirecting the sector. However, we cannot forget so soon that the Naira underperformed in the year 2023, and it is opening this year performing low when you lay it beside other world currencies. But then this episode is actually targeted at that, and we will be looking at the challenges and the way forward. My name is Leah Katung-Babatunde, welcoming you to the very first episode of the program this year. And don't forget, we have our complimentary segments, Simplify This and Market Roundup. We'll begin the show with the trend table.
President Bola Tinubu this Monday signed the 28.78 trillion naira 2024 appropriation bill into law. The president ascended to the bill in his office at the State House in Abuja. The National Assembly has passed the budget during a special plenary session on Saturday, increasing it by 1.2 trillion naira from the 27.5 trillion naira presented by the president in November. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Odun, said the federal government will eliminate reliance on ways and means to finance the budget. Speaking after the signing, Mr. Odun said the federal government will rather focus on ramping up revenue and driving economic growth. He expressed the federal government's optimism about reducing reliance on borrowing and increasing revenue while anticipating improvements in the revenue collection process. Nigeria's Purchasing Managers Index rose to 52.7 in December from 48 points in November, signaling an improved business environment despite macroeconomic challenges. The latest PMI report released by Stanbic IBTC showed that despite the increase, business outlook for the new year stands at its lowest since 2014. This increase is the highest since June 2023, when the index stood at 53.2 points and shows signs of recovery that have resulted in a significant upswing in new orders after two consecutive declines in October and November. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control (NAFDAC) has announced a reduction in processing fees for the renewal of registration for locally manufactured products by 65% to 44,200 naira. The agency stated that this was part of measures to assist micro, small, and medium enterprises in coping with the current economic challenges. However, processing fee for foreign products will be $450. NAFDAC also disclosed it granted a 10% review of tariff structure for facility and inspection fees for special economic zones as businesses across the world confront the disruptions caused by global economic meltdown. Dr. Tayo Aduloju has resumed office as the new Chief Executive Officer (CEO) of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group (NESG), effective from the 1st of January 2024. The NESG announced the appointment this week. Until his appointment, Tayo Aduloju was the Chief Operating Officer (COO) and Senior Fellow, Economic Policy, Strategy and Competitiveness of the NESG. With this appointment, he becomes the 6th Chief Executive Officer of the group. Dr. Aduloju took over from Mr. Laoye Jayeola after the completion of his two-term tenure.
It is school fees week, and a good number of Nigerians are having to pay school fees in other currencies other than the Naira. How much did you exchange it this week while paying your fees to your foreign institutions? Well, today we'll look at the monetary policy direction targeted at market stability, the Naira from the past, the present, and into the future. 2023 was the year Nigeria's monetary policy was put to the test like never before, and the Naira performed abysmally when you laid aside other currencies around the West African region, the African region, and the entire globe. A lot of currencies outperformed the Naira in the course of this year. But then we're looking into 2024, and I have joining me Professor Ofili Ugwudioha of the Nile University. He's a professor of accounting, and we'll be sharing thoughts on the performance of the Naira in the year 2023 and the 2024 outlook. It's nice to have you, Professor, on this program.
Yeah, good morning, Leah. Thank you for having me on this exalted program.
According to Bloomberg, the Naira is among the 3 worst performing currencies on the globe out of the 151 currencies it monitored. Did the monetary authorities get anything wrong in the course of the year, or are there other factors that affected the performance of the Naira?
Let's look at the basic objective of monetary policy. One of them is to stimulate employment. Another one is to control interest rate to acceptable level so that industries will be able to borrow money and stimulate the economy. Another one is the exchange rate. These are the 3 key objectives. There could be some other additional objectives, but these are the 3 pillars that stand the monetary policy. And in our own country, if you look at the year 2023, it became the worst in the sense that these 3 core objectives, none of them was met. If you look at our exchange rate, only in 2023, the exchange rate skyrocketed from 487 to now 1,210. And this kills the economy completely. Nigeria is an import-oriented country. Nigeria imports over 80% of what it consumes here. For our currency to be devalued, you have made it difficult for people to live because 80% of what is consumed in this country is imported. You can see the prices of goods and services have tripled only by that decision alone. Then you come to the issue of interest rate. The interest rate is meant to serve industries because if the interest rate is high, it will be difficult for people to borrow. It's only in Nigeria where somebody pack a bag of money to go and establish companies. In other climes, other economies, once you incorporate companies, you make your feasibility, and it's a workable feasibility, you borrow money from the bank to run the business. Then, because of this lack of policy regulation or enforcement, then industries cannot borrow money. They can't borrow money because they say it's 18.5. That is the interest rate. But it's wrong to say so because that is not the interest rate. The interest rate is 18.5 plus the cost of fund. Plus the cost of fund, because that 18.5 is the base rate. That bank cannot go below this. But they will add their cost of fund, and we are coming to 25.30.
What does that mean?
They call it MPR, monetary policy rate. It's not interest rate. The interest rate comes again when you add the cost of fund of the banks. Because if I give my money to bank, maybe I have 10 million naira, I give to bank. The bank will give me interest for giving them that money. And if they give me interest and they want to to loan out that money, the cost of what they are paying me is a part of what they are going to charge. If they even take money, sometimes they borrow money from each other. If they take money from another bank to augment what they have to be able to stay afloat, there is a cost. So all those things added to the base rate makes the interest rate higher.
I'm in love with this particular explanation because it has sort of cleared the doubt on so many other issues. But then from your point of view now, how do you see monetary policy targets for the year 2024?
Well, for the year 2024, the monetary policy target does not change from what we see in 2023. It's almost the same. And why I say it does not change is because, okay, we have not had anything that will bring down the Naira exchange rate, Naira versus dollar exchange rate. And if we remain at that very platform, it will be difficult for anybody to see any change in this year we are into. If Nigeria is exporting, devaluation of Naira is necessary, because if you devalue when you are an exporting nation, the cost of your goods is cheaper outside your country, and you sell more, the economy booms, you generate more foreign exchange. But if you are importing and your currency is devalued, the cost of goods and services in your country will be higher. And the main target of any government is to deliver socio-economic service. Socio-economic service means myself, how I will be able to get electricity, how I will be able to get water, how I will be able to get road, and how I will be able to feed myself. These are the socio-economic services, the key. There are others. But even if you do any other thing and I cannot feed myself, so all other things you have done means nothing to me. Transportation of goods and services is a key problem, because if you look at the whole country, you look at all the road network in the country, you see that you cannot produce goods in Kano and take it down easily to Lagos, because too many things are there. The road is so bad. The people collecting money on the road are so much, and you may stay on the road for 2-3 days from Lagos to Kano. If the railway is working, it's a twinkle of some hours, and it goes down there.
I would like you to speak to the twin effects of fuel subsidy removal, and then secondly, the exchange rate floating of the Naira in the course of the year. How did it affect the purchasing power of Nigerians? And we are in a new year, so what will be the implications for Nigerians? The money is there, the value has reduced, we're going to the same market.
Well, going by the pedigree of the CBN governor, I believe he will be able to do something. But you know, there are things that do not depend on them alone. You know, like I said earlier, that monetary policy work in tandem with fiscal policy. Even if it does anything, even if exchange rate changes, even if they do something better in terms of interest rate or borrowing rate, there will still be a problem because of insecurity. Because all these things work like a system administration. I believe that they will do something on monetary policy. But I also advise the federal government to look at the fiscal policy, because you have to deliver. Nigerian roads are so bad. People cannot travel. Kidnappers are on the road because they will just hide in the place where they know the road is bad, that people will slow down, and they will come there. They cannot catch you in the express. If railway is working, then most of these things will ease out. And it will also help industrialization, so that the policy of CBN can now service that very fiscal policy of the federal government. So I look at it as, well, we are still learning, but for how long shall we learn in this country? For how long? And I saw some people saying that after all, US is so and so 100 years, and Nigeria is just this and that. Were we not created the same time? Did God create us after them? Okay, why can't we compare ourselves with Ghana? That we got almost independence the same time. Why can't we compare ourselves with South Africa, that we gave independence? Because it's Nigeria that fought for their independence. So why are we destroying people's mind? Because if you don't allow people to think well, even the leaders, they will always think that they are getting it right.
Lastly, the president just signed the 2024 budget, and a significant issue in that budget is the securitization of the Ways and Means, which he's asked the National Assembly to do. And Ways and Means have been an issue for over a year now. What is your take on that, and your, of course, prospects looking at the budget? What do you make of it?
Yeah. Ways and means of borrowing is the way that government take money from CBN when certain aspect of budgeted expenses could not be met. But it's supposed to be met before the end of the fiscal year. Ways and means of borrowing in the past is that you cannot borrow, you cannot take money from CBN more than 5% of the budgeted expenses. But they continue adjusting it. It's allowed. But there's an extent to which you can also collect money from that area, because you have your budget. And budget is income and expenditure. If budget variation, that is what you plan to do, goes beyond 5 to 10%, that budget is bad. And those who prepare the budget should bear the brunt. I worked in a corporate organization. I worked in a multinational. I was a chief financial officer. If I allow the company to pass a budget that after the implementation, it has more than 5%, I will be fired. Whenever I analyze budget of Nigeria, I see a lot of loopholes, a lot of unachievable projections. And by the end of the year, such projections will not be achieved. And people don't understand what is a budget. Budget is a quantitative analysis of the expected actions. That's the simple meaning of budget. Which means I projected that I will do this road from Abuja to Lokoja. I will do this road from Lagos to Ibadan within this budget year. And by the end of the year, you will see that they will not even do half. And you allow the people working there to remain. You allow the people who prepare your budget to remain. Because there's no budget monitoring. All the monitoring you hear, I don't want to talk much because I was in private sector. I know what they do in oversight. I know what they do in budget monitoring because they used to come to me that time. So the budget monitoring means that I gave you 1 billion. Then I monitor how you spend that 1 billion. If I give you 1 billion for road, or for bitumen, you must have laid road worth that 1 billion. And that is how we can say that the budget has performed. Either 90%, which you always say we have performed above 90%. But when you go to the activity that consume the budget, you will see that it's not up to 30%.
I sincerely thank you for your thoughts on these issues.
Thank you.
Yes.
The policy with Leah quite certainly is a show to turn to when it comes to policymakers' desire to monitor and respond to challenges within the capital markets ecosystem and the economy in general. I am Sterling Ellis, a duly qualified capital markets professional in Nigeria, in the United Kingdom, and in the United States of America. Enjoy the policy with Leah.
My name is Aldumi Ikori.
Keep watching the policy with Leah.
It aims to provide policymakers an opportunity to explain their policies in a way that members of the public affected by those policies can understand and engage with those policies.
Keep watching the policy with Leah.
It is learning time, and the word for this week is a tax. Let's simplify that for you, and from there we take you to the market. For more on rates from markets across the country, do well to log on to our sister website, www.marketnigertv.com. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is at Saban Media Services. Also follow our various social media platforms. Don't forget to send in your questions, comments, and suggestions because we value them. See you again, same time next week. My name is Leah Katung-Babatunde. Have a beautiful and progressive 2024. God bless Nigeria.